Good morning. Today I'm bringing you a rifle that I brought to you before. It was a while back. It was my first attempt at making any kind of a video about a gun. I used my cell phone and I was looking at it myself and I got confused because the gun was upside down. It just didn't mean anything to me. So I said, I've got some time. Let me uh, let me reintroduce the Steyr 95. This is the Steyr 95. It's a small gun. It's called a carbine Stutzen. Let me make sure I get that right because there's also the Stutzen carbine. This is the carbine Stutzen. And what it is a rifle that at one time was a Steyr 95 full-length rifle with a 30-inch barrel. What happened was when of course the Austrians, this is an Austrian rifle from the Austrian Hungarian Empire, and they lost the war, so they had to give up their guns. So what they did was they gave them a lot to the Balkan states. They gave as well as they gave some to, or actually quite a few to Italy. What happened was it was, as we discussed before, it's kind of the end of the long rifle days and more of the short rifle days with the smokeless gunpowder. We're able to achieve what we wanted to achieve with shorter barrels. So instead of a 30-inch barrel, this has a 19-inch barrel. It has everything else the same. This is the same as it would be if it was a full-size rifle. It's just the barrel shorter. How do we know that it's actually, because there are versions of the Steyr that were actual carbines that were not cut down. They were actually made shorter. The Stutzen was one of them, and they were not cut down. And one of the ways we can tell is, number one, by the width of the end of the barrel, the muzzle. It's wider because as the barrel gets closer to the receiver, it gets wider. So they cut the skinny part off. Another way is by the sight. And this is the sight. It's a long sight. This is a rifle sight. It's not a carbine sight. So the sight that's on there indicates that it was actually, in fact, a long rifle at one time. It's also the Steyr Mannlicher is one of the names that they give to it, and it's because that's the name of the company that made it, was the Steyr Mannlicher. Mannlicher was a guy. He was alive in the mid 1800s all the way up to 1904, and he was this genius that designed guns and different methods of warfare and civilian guns too. He made some hunting guns and things like that. He I guess not quite, but sort of like a Browning of Austria, kind of, where Browning made all these different guns and worked for somebody else when he did it. Um, he also Mannlicher was also working on a automatic weapon that I'm not sure he ever saw the end of. He had the designs that he had left for the automatic firing weapon. You know, one of the things that they were was I got the safety on, was the pull bolt, and we'll talk about that, just a straight pull, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. Let's look at the rifle. It's got the butt plate. It's got the swivels on the bottom and the swivels on the side. It's got the swivel on the bottom here, and it's got the swivel on the side right here. You can't, right there. Okay. Go on up. It's got the bayonet lug. It's got the stacking rod, and it's got the sight, the front sight. The I like the way they have the side uh, swivel, and I have actually had a sling in there, and I wore it around out back for a while, um, not to terrorize the neighbors, but just to see how comfortable it was. And you could wear it all day. I mean, it was a lot more comfortable, as we've talked about the side swivels, as opposed to having the like this on your back, because this way here it keeps hitting you, and this part keeps hitting your back, and whereas if it's laying on its side, it's a lot more comfortable to do. Now it has a 5-round magazine, but like the others, like the Carcanos, you have to have a clip to go inside. And the clip goes inside, push it down, you fire your rounds, and when the magazine is done, it falls out the bottom so that you can put your next one in. Now the bolt is a straight pull bolt. There's 2 ways to cock it. Push it in, and you cock it. And it has this handle in the back. You can pull back, and it also cocks it. So that's some things. Now, a straight pull bolt is something that I had never seen before till I got this gun. I don't know how many straight pull bolts there are out there, but this is one of them. So the way that it works, without taking it apart, well, that's the other thing is most guns, when you go to take the bolt out, you pull the trigger back and it releases the sear so that you can pull the bolt out. But on the Steyers, you have to push the trigger forward. That took me quite a while to figure that out, and ended up with a Google search to show me how to do it. So what we've got here is this is the bolt, and it's in the, let's see if I get close enough. It's in the cocked position. The bolt head is extended out. The firing pin is in. So what you do is when you push this in, what happens is this turns. The firing pin is back because you've got your sear catches on the cocking device and pulls it back. So it tightens everything up. Safety keeps getting in the way. And they're inside the receiver up here. There's spaces, if you could feel it. I could feel there's one on the bottom and one at the top, and that's where the lugs go. Inside here, I'm not going to take it apart, but inside here, you can see this part right here goes down inside the body of the bolt, and it's got a spiral on it, so that when it, I can't do it in slow motion. Let's see if I can do it in slow motion with you seeing it. You see how it rotates? It rotates. So, and the spring itself is what, hold on, so somebody's on the phone. Holy crap, my extended warranty's just about gone on my car. I'll take care of that later. So that's how this bolt works, and it's on the spring, so that if you, so on the spring with the firing pin, so that as this goes up and down, this goes up and down, it spirals inside. There's a spiraler inside. And that's why you don't have to turn it, because the bolt head itself turns. Hopefully that wasn't very confusing. So that's the way it's got a straight handle, which most carbines have a curved handle that I found. And I know I'm going to say that, and people say, no, that's not true, that's not true. But, well, anyway, with the Mausers anyway, I know that the rifles have the straight handles, and the carbines have the curved handles. But this is actually takes a 8x50 round, so it's an 8mm round by 50 in length, which is an extinct round. It most of the rifles after World War I, like I said, they were dispersed out and they were dispersed to Italy. What they did, besides making them shorter, is they reamed them out and made it so that they could use a larger cartridge, which is the 8x56. So it was a longer cartridge that they used. In Austria got to hang on to some guns, and Hungary got to hang on to some guns. And when Austria did it, they put a big S right here, which meant it's in something in German, and it means that that's the round that they can use, which was the bigger round. The Hungarians, they put an H on their gun to show that they had changed the caliber of the that it would accept. The Italians, they didn't. They left it at the 8x50, which is a sign that this gun actually made it to Italy, because otherwise it would have been changed over. I looked everywhere for any Italian signs anywhere on this gun, and there's no Italian stamps anywhere on the gun, other than the fact that on the butt there's some really deep numbers, and the serial number on here very deep. And the Italians did that; they made very deep uh, marks into the stock. So that's one thing. The This gun was made in 1916, and the reason I know that is because normally up here there's they put a proof stamp, which was a WN, which is something in German again that I don't know, and then the date that it was actually accepted into the service. Not necessarily when it was made, but probably pretty close to when it was made. On here, it's been scrubbed. It's somebody ground it off, except they left a little bit of the W and they left the 16. If you look at it, well, some of the 6 is gone, but the 1 is there, and some of the 6 is gone, but you can tell that it's a 16. So you know that the gun was made in 1916. So it was an Italian gun, and the Italians, they didn't use it as a frontline gun. They used it as a secondary gun. And some of them went to Africa. The Italians had holdings in Africa at the time, and they would put stamps on their things for their African service. There was one that was up back here, and there was one for the Somali stamp that went under here. I've looked everywhere for all sorts of stamps, and I haven't been able to find any stamps on this thing at all that mean anything. So I can only assume that it went to Italy, and the main reason is that it stayed as a 8x50. So the trying to find ammo for an 8x50 is nearly impossible. So I bought some at Gunbroker. It was expensive. It was $5, $7 a round, and I bought 5 rounds just to be able to shoot it one time. And I shot 4 of the rounds, and it was fine. And on the 5th round, something happened. It was just there was smoke, and something happened to it. So I couldn't pull the bolt back. It took a while, and finally I got to pull the bolt back, and the cartridge was covered with black. And I was thinking, there's something wrong. I'm not going to shoot this gun again until I find out exactly what happened. What happened was, and you have to be careful when you buy reload ammo from somebody that you don't know or somebody that you don't trust 100%. What I ended up with was a squib, and a squib is a round that doesn't make it out of the barrel. There's not enough charge to it. Whether it's there's no gunpowder and it's just the primer that shoots it up, or for whatever reason that there's not enough charge to push this round up. So what happens is, if you have another round, which I didn't have another round, and I wouldn't have shot it anyway, but if I had loaded another round in and shot it, it would have banged into the back of the other round, and sometimes that can cause some real problems depending on where the round is. If the round is up near the end, it may just push it out, and that's it. My round was back here somewhere, and especially with an old gun like this, that could have been catastrophic for me to for shooting that. So I learned a lesson about uh, taking reloads from somebody that I don't really trust or really know. I mean, it can kill you. So, especially with these old guns. Um, this gun, the new guns, I think I showed you when we were talking about um, the guns. They have a vent in the side, a little vent hole to release the gases so that they go out to the side. When I had my incident with the 0383, the gases went out the side. The old guns don't have that. There's no hole here. So that's why all that pressure built up inside, and I couldn't open the bolt because there was too much pressure inside. The gun's fine. Um, I got it checked out, and so I mean it's an old Warrior, so it's fine. It'll shoot again. What's going to happen is I'm going to have to someday. I'm hoping to take up reloading, and if I do, then I will reload. The cartridge that it uses is just about the same as the one for the Mosin. The 762 by 54, I think. That's the one that you use when you reload for the 95. The difference is that the Russian round has less power to it, and the bullet is smaller. So, I mean, theoretically, you could almost shoot that round out of this gun if you were to take that chance, which I'm not willing to take that chance. I've read about it online, and I'm not willing to take that chance. The sight, we didn't do the sight. The sight is the ladder sight, and you can see where it's graduated, and it goes up to 2,600 yards. Then you just pull it up and down. The notch is 300 yards. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else about this gun. Oh, this is one of the few guns that I actually have a bayonet for. So what I've got is a Mannlicher bayonet. Now, when I got this, I got it for the M95, and I thought, well, it should fit, right? It's an M95. Well, no, it didn't fit. Nothing fits in these Deals guns. What happened was the hole for the barrel was smaller than I needed because the barrel was thinner when it was up at the top. So what I had to do was I had to go and route it out with a Dremel so that I could at least get it on over the top of the barrel. I'm not going to fire with it on there, but at least I got it over the top of the barrel. If I was to make it a lot smaller so that this would slide over the top, then what would happen would be the lug is too close to the barrel because it's actually the bayonet's made for a longer barrel, so it would be too short anyway. So I stopped there where it was. In fact, if you look, it'll fit, but it only goes that far because this only fits so far into the lug. So that's all right. It still works. It looks cool. I think it looks cool. One of the things about the Mannlicher bayonet that's different than others is the way that it's designed. We have this baby back again, and you can see when you look at this, it fits onto the gun like this with the going through the barrel, and this is the sharp part. So stick it in, sharp part. Use it for slashing or whatever you want to do. I never had any bayonet training, so I don't know. The Mannlicher, on the other hand, the sharp point's up. That's how you can tell if it's a real, an authentic Mannlicher bayonet, is because the point or the sharp side is up. I guess I go in and up, in and up. I guess, and that's the way it is. I guess I spoke for a long time here. Hopefully, I didn't lose anybody or bore anybody. But there's a lot of these guns, that are out there, and I have a lot of different guns. Are just so much fun, and so much fun. The history behind them is just so much fun, and I think that one of the things I would hope is that if somebody would watch a video of one of my guns and the way that I deal with it, that you say, you know what, that Mannlicher guy, let me go look him up and see what's going on, or you can look up. In this case, you may or may not want to look up Styer 95s in Italy, and it'll tell you the whole story of how they used them in Italy. And it's just a great hobby to have, and I hopefully will have another gun for you here in a couple of days, and we'll be able to do a video then, and I'll try not to make it go for 20 minutes or 25 minutes or whatever this is. So I'm going to have sponsors before too long, but I think I reached everything on my list, and um, and that's it. I'll talk to you in a couple of days when I have another gun. Thank you.